Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Kerbal Space Program. We're going to quickly take a look at the KISS space station, just because it has been a few days since I've looked at it, and I want to make sure that I have not left bits and pieces just wandering about up there. That's interesting. Hopefully it is good news. Okay, so far orbit seems stable. We do want to come here. This to a master frequency of 200, not 200, 100. Okay, let's switch to the radiation shielding probe. I do believe this is the rocket that we sent up. Just need to check, make sure it is on a descending orbit. It is not. Retrograde. Throttle up the engines. And that is descent. Let's switch to some of these other probes, see if we can clean them up a little bit. I am aware that some of these just are not going to work, like this guy right here, which has very little fuel left because it is a because of the type of rocket it is. Okay. Let us... I can find something that will let me rename... Oh, there we go. Bree... the casing. I think what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can clean this up. We're going to send it up. Gonna see if we can attach a parachute or something to it. Yeah, because I believe that was before we started putting emergency solar panels on everything. Hmm. We don't need anything with monopropellant built in. We just need something that'll just hold steady. but kind of liking that a little bit more, just because it is at least appearing to be well behaved, simple. Thing we want to do is down to our coupling. Go to advanced grabbing. 1.25. Structural moment. Nope. Actually, oh, no. There we go. What? That would have been nice to know that that has that. That is really convenient. Not quite right. Not right. Not great, but I guess it works. Next thing we need is, I believe we're going to use a payload system, just so that we can tuck a service bay. Inside, we're going to fill it with our rechargeable batteries. Okay, it's not perfect, but it works. Shroud does fit on fairly comfortably. We have some, we'll call it space debris. Technically, it's my own foolish rocket I built that was using the, was it cryo engines? Really cool engines. I forgot that when you do stuff with cryo, come here and do that, one of the things it warns you is the tank cooling? If the tank isn't cooling, you're basically burning off the fuel that exists. So we're just going to go up, grab the particular rocket, and we're going to yank it right out of orbit. Oh yeah. Yep. And it wasn't even like an overheat. It was just I, at the time, didn't understand how those worked. And yeah. Well, here, the really funny thing is, my problem technically wasn't an issue with the cooling. My problem was I forgot to put solar panels on it. So, you know, it doesn't matter how cool you keep everything if it runs out of power and stops cooling everything. So, yep. Okay. Now, let's see. Do I have anything I built custom for long haul? I don't think so. I think my best long haul engine is gonna be a little guy. Okay, so technically this R&D is the best for that, but that's not the one that I have the most points in. Also, where the heck is... I know one of these. There we go. Definitely putting the adapter on. Boom, boom. Then we're gonna come up here. And we are gonna build inverted system just for this. We want to make sure that we toss one of those on there, because that's gonna keep me from doing dumb things again. Need to pump out our fuel from here, so we want to do just something nice, something clean. That should give them plenty of burn time for towing it out of orbit. Then I need to come to here. We need monopropellant because are going to be a little bit aggressive with it. I want to make sure that if I need to make minute changes, I can without just immediately losing everything. Good command and control so we don't end up in a bad situation with it. So how are you doing today, Dad? I'm feeling that it's my first day back to work after they laid us off for a week, so it's takes a second to get reacclimated with that. Okay, theoretically this should be able to grab it and burn away. A tiny amount of solar panel, tiny amount of battery. I don't think we have a need for anything else because we will not be watching this do the drop. It'll just be kind of happening. Yes. Question is, how heavy is this thing? Oh, it's not that bad. Might just... nah. As much as I know that has the lift capability of it, this just matches better. Pull that off. That down. Oh. Rotate it. Lift it. You're definitely gonna have to put an extender on it. Otherwise, this is just gonna explode on the launch pad no matter what we do. Which is fine, because we were anticipating having to throw the extra spacer. Actually, part of that is this, because I always forget to put that on there, and then... Let me see, do I have any? No, don't have any stackable parachutes. Cool. Yeah, I don't have anything that's actually going to be useful for that, so... Theoretically, I could put more fuel, but I don't know if that's really necessary. That's interesting. I don't really need the couplings. Now we need to payload system just so that I can... Yeah, that's the right size. I guess I don't have the special coupling parts I was looking for, because... Yeah, okay. Well, I need space, might as well add more fuel. Not a great idea, but if you're gonna lift something, might as well lift fuel. Doom, doom, doom. You make your orange so everything kind of just matches. Go down here, make sure our engines aren't just sitting underground. And thankfully, I am financially soluble enough that I don't have to empty the rocket of fuel and load it on the pad. Rid of that. I do need to fix my staging because looks like the entire rocket just goes off all at once. And yeah, that's we aren't planning on pulling the Bezos, so grabber. Mark one. Need to make sure we separate out our top tier engines. Boom, fairing blows up. Cool. Don't really want that fairing to go. Boom, 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 boom. We do want these parachutes to go off as we activate the engines. That's because at that point, everything should be fine. We should be outside the atmosphere. Oh. We'll call this the Grabber Mark II then. So you ever make that mistake there, Dad? Forget to put some solar panels on something and just have it die up there? The worst part is the particular part isn't even like it's something I don't have an excuse for, because normally I'm on the ball about it and, you know, keeping my space clean. I forgot about it, and by the time I remembered it, and I was just going, wait a second. I know, I use this a lot. It's one of those weird things of, like, at least for me, when you find a really good, just, that was a very rough physics return. When you find a really good rocket profile, it's very hard to get away from it. Yeah, most of my satellites have so much extra fuel that, like, I could... The ones around the moon, I'm almost positive I have enough fuel to not just deorbit them onto the moon, I have enough fuel to deorbit them to Kerbin if I wanted to. But that's just me being insane with my, like, fuel expenditures. Like, this heavy lift right here outputs so much. Kind of interesting, it doesn't bother giving a fuel readout for that, but... Actually, does it not give a fuel readout because it's using the fuel? Because that would be worrisome. Okay, not using the fuel. We're making pretty good orbital timing, actually. Got that. MechJeb likes to do that. And because it did that, it's going into a nice... I guess we'll call it a silly wobble. I don't even know how to fix this image. Uh, auto strut root. Auto strut root. Oop. Well, I'm definitely not making the rendezvous the way I want. Ooh, 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 ooh. So, have you ever launched pasta into space? Because apparently that's what I'm doing right now. Uh, you, sir, your gimbal's getting limited to 10. The motor's having an existential crisis. Okay, not the worst. It's not great, but... And maneuver node. Come here. Up. Can never remember with these. Nope. Yeah, it's down. Go. Good do. That wiped out my target again. Maneuver node. Do I have 3 minutes to figure out my maneuver node. Smart, do me a favor and point at the node. Just in case. Planner? Good. And these. There we go. That's going away. There we go. Execute the next node. I just realized I have to switch my engine to a 1% throttle, otherwise... Ooh, not 1. 5. Okay, 5% throttle. Otherwise, I'm going to overshoot that by not even a country mile. I'm gonna overshoot that by like 7 continents. This engine right here has a lot of bleed over when you throttle it down, so it's one of those things you always have to take into account when you're doing maneuvers and stuff like that. What I need to do is make a variant of this which has secondary nozzles down here that are more accurate that I can just swap out for. Closest approach distance. Self-throttling down. And that is actually really nice. Liking that it's moving on its own, but hey. Let's make a save just in case. We want to up here. Where we are doing a relativity burn because otherwise we will be having a very bad day. We have 2 minutes to adjust for our closest approach. Given how quickly it's rotating, we should be fine with that. Problem is, I need to figure out where that debris is. The debris is on the outside, so debris should be there. Nope, that's a point I wasn't aware of. Oh, there we go. There it is. Bring you down to 1 because we don't actually need that much. There it is. Big guys coming into view shortly. Okay. Need more power, so we will do 10. A lot more power. 100. Okay. Tell you to go retrograde. And I realized I never separated these two. I forgot to put the separator. So, this is gonna be absolutely insane. Target, aim at target. Turn the lights on. Right. Let me go here. Here, edit action groups, which will pause the game, thankfully. Toggle those engines, and toggle those engines. The other thing I need to do is remember to come in here and actually update the action group for close that. We need action group 1 toggles the engines. Toggles the engines. Action group 5 shuts down the engines. There we go. Now we're not going to be fighting our own motors just to do stuff. However, I do need to reduce power quite substantially. We're just going to drop you to 5. Otherwise, this thing is going to hit it at, like, Mach everything. Yay. Shutting down magnet. Insufficient power, you don't say. It's almost like this gigantic thing has a massive amount of potential, but is being wasted. How close can I tell it to get? Again, why are you having a hard time aiming at the target? Like, this is target. I really should have built this to separate. I can't believe I forgot to add the actual separating bit. Or it's not that I forgot to add it, I deleted it on accident. Aim at the target because you're about to smack into it. Also, nice and carefully. I know you're going to take forever to make the turn, but can I do this via docking? I have enough monopropellant for it. There we go. Because nothing says, hey, I know what I'm doing, like doing it the hardest way possible. Very poorly. You get 1% power. Um, come on, come on. Turn off that kill rotation. Of course. Okay. Definitely just gonna revert to assembly because I messed that up so bad. Not just the forgetting to add the separator, but also adding the bit where it blows the fairing off in orbit is also not a good thing. Pull that down. Ta-da, that technically fixes everything. I'm gonna be silly. May as well be extra silly. Do a twin dragon here and just the whole thing together. You drop you there. Drop you there. What? It's fine. What I need to do though, make sure that is up in there. That technically in there. Make sure I hit save. And then set up my action group so that I'm doing this the right way. So you are going to be activate engine, shut down engine. No, wrong one. You need to be action group 1, shut down this engine, activate this engine. Action group 2 is be the not toggle, needs to be activate down. Hey, Cindy. Yeah. Yeah, with the way I've been making stuff right now, yeah, blowing it up is probably going to be what's happening. Switch over to our ascent guidance. Everything else is behaving itself relatively okay. That debris, we need that debris. Set it as the target, launched rendezvous. Engage the autopilot. So how you doing tonight, Cindy? Oof, that's wobbly. Yep, at least this time I remembered to pack a separator. Oh, come on. Why do you always wobble after separation? Uh... Well, it'll get in orbit, eventually. You know, if it doesn't fold in half. I don't get why some stuff does not have an issue at all. And then other things are like, yep, I'm just gonna become frickin' a gummy worm being pushed into space. Mr. Engine, I don't trust you anymore. Your gimbal's locked at 10. A minute till closest approach. Adjust that a bit with engines. Right, that worked a lot better last time. Then again, it also didn't almost fold over itself last time, so yeah. You win a few, you lose a lot. Okay, turn that off. Here, add a maneuver. I gotta maneuver this quickly. Down. 0. That brings us there. That brings us closer. That brings us where we want. Point at the node. Your thrust is limited to 5 because you like to overshoot everything. Actually, 5 is even too much. Thrust limited to 1. I can work with that. Execute next node. Should just get everything working. So yeah, Shinji, technically speaking, we are going to blow it up. We're going to blow it up by dragging something out of orbit. Something that ran out of both power and cooling, so, you know, the fuel just burned up. Okay, so it should wait till, what, 16, and then it'll start to burn. Like the softest this big old engine's ever gonna be able to do. There we go. Target rep to look in the right direction. Drop this down. Blew off a fairing I didn't mean to blow off. That's a thing. Hey Shinji, remember when you said make it blow up? Well, I just exposed the batteries to space, and that's the part that's going to be entering the orbit, so whoopsies. You might get your wish. That we're gonna come here. We're gonna warp to this node. How long do I have? I have a minute and some, so what I need to do is go here, turn the RCS on, and immediately wonder why my action groups decided to just piss off. Okay, so one is going to be those engines are activated and those are shut down. Two is going to activate them and shut down those. Great. One. Good. That's perfect timing. This thing needs to point retrograde and just get out of Dodge. Engine throttle 100. Come on, let me switch. There we go. Off RCS. Wait until we are at the... There it is. Wait until we're close. Okay, aim at the target. Want to arm it. Enable targeting. We want to enable the magnet. I'll set the magnet to maximum strength, even though it will kill our battery with the ease of 1,000 suns. Switch the motors over. Aim at the target. Switch the motors back. Target. Kill rotation. Rotate this way, this way, this way. And just give me a little bit of speed. And grab it, you. Come on. Haha! Okay. Switch the engines over. Orbit. Prograde is retrograde for these engines. Grab it and That was a thing. Guess there was a little bit of fuel left in the tanks. Kill. Okay. And it is officially on a deorbiting path. So all I've got to do is activate basically everything. Well, this should, theoretically at least, drop out of orbit. Okay. Now all I gotta do is switch to Space Center. And time warp a little bit. Let it go and fizzle out in the atmosphere. And hopefully get me paid for it. So Shinji, you still there? Oh. No, looks like my buddy disappeared on me. Time warping. Ooh, goody. Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta do a save and reload. Oh. That's not supposed to do that. Yeah, we're gonna do a quick save and reload. So that's a bug that I run into every now and again, where basically the ability to actually do anything gets locked out. I'm sorry, but how are you considered still in orbit? Okay. You know what? Let's mess with it. We're gonna switch to it while it's in a very low orbit and just watch it detonate. Because why not? It wants to play games. We're gonna play Bernie Uppy in the atmosphere. Yep. I love how it's just like, yeah, you have no control over this. You don't say. Honestly, the fact that this has not exploded yet is a testament to something. I have no idea what it is, though. This thing is moving way too fast for what it's doing. Oh, it's got no electrical charges. That would be why. Oop, oop. Are you gonna explode? Actually, how did you re-encase yourself? Yeah, whatever. At least it's not trying to get back into orbit at this point. Oh. Now it's turned into a helicopter. I was waiting for it to explode at this point. I was kind of expecting the explosion to happen already. Then again, it's rotating so quickly, the whole thing may not know it's supposed to explode. Parts of it are ready to go. Gotta sit still long enough. Honestly, I'm a little surprised well, I did get rid of the drogue chutes, so the parachutes may not want to deploy until they are at a safe what is it? Altitude, speed, whatever. Yeah, Shinji might get his wish though. This literally looks like it's ready to explode. Granted, I have had planes going faster than this. Is this actually gonna make it? Like, it's slowing down enough, it might actually... Yeah, it's gonna make it. That's kind of silly. And by kind of, I mean extremely silly. This should not have had any chance of survival. And we gotta do this 2 more times, because I accidentally ejected the outer bits. Yeah, huh. There goes parachutes, and this thing has enough of them, it should just kind of slow down. Granted, it is pretty low to the ground, actually, for how fast it's moving. I wonder if the rotation's gonna stop when the parachutes go off. This is how you know Kerbal Space Program does not use a perfect physics engine, because if this was rotating like this, these parachutes would be annihilated. You're kidding me. Well, that's a thing that happened, and it is going to touch down. Whether it's going to stay in one piece when it touches down is going to be another story entirely, but it is going to touch down. Under 100 meters, slow down. And wait for the boom. Something's gonna go boom. Boop, 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 boop. You're kidding me. How? I was not expecting that to survive. Not even remotely. Just insane. Of course, no science came back. It's worth basically nothing because I make relatively cheap rockets. Let's go back to tracking station so we can check out the other parts that are just floating up there because they're not being classified as burned up when they absolutely should be. Okay, I'm not even gonna play that game. I'm not sending something up for that. This guy, however, you're moving at 2K at 16 height. Let's blow you up because you should have been treated as a returning vessel and you didn't. So I'm genuinely frustrated with you. Let's see, you detonate. There we go. There we go. Time warp. So that everything kind of just disintegrates and falls to Kerbin. And that's what you get for not considering yourself deorbited properly. Could I have jumped to you at a higher altitude and power your landing? Absolutely. You, sir, were rude. Oh, that's the actual motor. Boom. Okay, let's check our missions. I don't think we have anything active except for the celestial searching, and I think we might jump out and let them complete, see if we can get something interesting out of them. Hyper warp. Create an alarm for there we go. Create an alarm for 270 days. Add an alarm. Warp to the next point. Boom. Warp a little closer. Hey, we now know what Duna is. That's great. And we have 2 unknown objects. That is even better. A bunch of Kerbal health issues. Okay. Delete all that, because as far as I can tell, none of my Kerbins died. Uh-oh. Oh, they showed up. Good. Switch to proper time warping. You do not get to disappear on me. Okay, go to our observatory. We have Duna at 50. Ike at 10. Bunch of these at... Okay. Well, not perfect, but... Hey, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I can jump into my one observatory telescope and force the mission done. And... oof. I believe I have to be Hey, Killer Rabbit. How are you doing this evening? Ah, I'm sorry, man. I've been there on... I've been there quite a few times, actually. Well, I still got a little under 40 minutes left to stream, so if you want to just hang out, I'm sure physics can be boring enough to help you sleep. I know not everyone has the KSP bug, as it were. 90 days. 89 days. Go here. Create an alarm. 89 days. Add an alarm. Warp to it. Whee! Let's just break everything at this point. All my Kerbins are having, you know, massive health issues. Back to standard warp. That. Go here. Zip forward. Get those searches done. And then we need to check out the Space Center. So, Rabbit, you normally troll the Twitch when can't sleep? Duna is 60, the moon's fine. 10. We haven't bothered searching any other planets. Pop, cool. Pop, wait. Okay. What are they? Duna and Ike, I think, are two that are just being researched. Well, good to know I've made the boring list. I'm guessing you're not normally a fan of KSP? A lot of the time, yeah. But sometimes I just do silly stuff like, cause my computer to have a meltdown because I told it to load an aircraft. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, I like doing it in a way that people who just want to see crazy stuff fly, they can see crazy stuff fly. People who like the rocket science can sit back and enjoy the rocket science with me. And if you ever need just a stream to drop into, feel free to drop into my streams because I do Monday through Fridays. About this time. For me, it is coming up on like 9 p.m. and I normally do 7:30 to 9:30, so I guess that would be ending at 3:30, starting at 1:30. So if you're ever up, feel free to stop in, chat. Okay, now that physics have reasserted themselves, let's go crazy. Because, you know, when you're bored, you just build the equivalent of fighter jets in Kerbal Space Program. There we go. I forgot how much fuel this thing has. Let's slow down. Engage our air brake. Knock everyone unconscious because we engaged our air brake. Who needs to come in for a soft landing? I can do something funnier. Basically, parachute down. Engage brakes. And then with it. I think Bill is uh-oh. I know that I put a ladder in here somewhere. Uh-oh. Might have to revert to the assembly because I think I accidentally removed the ladder from the jet. And it's just a wee bit high off the ground. Utility. There we go. Bending the ladder. There we go. these. Go there. And do that. Okay, hit save. And we will relaunch this. So Rabbit, the jet we're working with right now actually was something I designed just for fun. Wanted to build something to go nice and fast. But I have learned my lesson. I have to make sure that the physics reassert itself before I turn any of the engines on. Okay, throttle all the way up. Yes, I get it. Neither of you are trained for this. Realistically, neither of you are trained for any of the missions I send you on. You just kind of go. Or more specifically, you're sent, and then we figure it out later. Man, I forgot how quickly this thing can move. Okay, cut the engine. Engage the brake. And engage the parachutes, because why not? Funny. Why that worked as well as it did. Hey buddy, you can EVA. Repack the suit. Fall down. Then this ladder. And we're gonna climb up it so we can get to the back. Ah, I forgot you have to basically convince it you want to do it bad enough. Could have added the yeah, that's gonna bother me. Actually, how close do I have to be? Not that close. Okay, so that still works. Okay. Retract that ladder. Climb up this. Get aboard. Crack that. Disable the brakes. Roll the engine up a little bit. Ready? And go. The fact that that just works is kind of a bit silly. The fact that this isn't counting as going towards your G limit. Well, don't have any wings anymore, but apparently that isn't necessary. Apparently I can just make torpedoes. Doesn't have any wheels, but let me do this smart thing. Come into my edit action groups. Select the parachutes, put them on 1. No, don't put them on 1. That's the motor. Put them on 4. Deploy. Deploy. Activate. The fact that this thing is flying is kind of ridiculous. Boom. It worked. Hey, Bill, buddy. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Okay, so that does break it. Don't know what I did to break it, aside from rip the wings off at a extreme velocity, but yeah. You just put them on the ladder and you can't actually do anything with that. But yeah, wings are optional. Neat. Park it. Recover it. Get everything back. Oh, that was fun. I think we will be looking at doing a Duna mission on Wednesday. Still have some time, so we might look into making the rocket for it, but did check my research, see if there's anything specific I want to unlock. Our fuel tanks are kind of a, you know, a must. Nuclear, good for efficiency. Unmanned tech is solar panels. And the extra large solar panels that are deployable. That sounds amazing. Yep. Even though it uses up quite a bit of our stuff. Our research, search the skies. Oh, we used up quite a bit of money doing these researches. Rescue from orbit of Kerbin. Orbit of the moon. Oh, that's recovering parts. That's cool. Let's see, any of these pay exceedingly well. Huh. Of surface electrical properties, experiment science on the moon. Basically put something on the moon, deploy science. Science from around the moon. I feel like I can kind of cheese that one. Bye bye the sun? You guys are insane. That is actual insane. This is easy. That's insane. Urban, moon. All those are easy. Moon, Kerbin. Kerbin, son. The part testing. Ooh, that pays really well. What am I doing? Test it in a suborbital trajectory. For activate part through stage. Yeah. Test the mammoth liquid in suborbital trajectory of the moon. Basically, launch this part at the moon and make it stick. So that's kind of a relatively easy thing. Well, take a peek, because I know I've got some satellites there, and I don't know if the system cares that they technically can do certain scientific properties. I don't think there's a specific request for it. I think it's just any data, which is just vague enough to complete the contract by looking at it the right way. You know, the best kind of correct. Technically correct. Experiment. Okay. It's the scanner, because the scanner should have an experiment on board. Even if it's not really an experiment. Huh. That is actually kind of interesting that it doesn't count. Okay, makes this easy then. All I gotta do is make something that I can toss at the moon that gives data. Still with me, rabbit, or you finally catch the sleep you've been trying to catch? Okay. We have quite a bit of capability with us. Thousand comfortable. That scaling down. And there we go. Uh, just want to toss some sciencey bits on. Good enough. Build the fairing. Enough engine capability. So we zero out all of our fuel. Then under utilities, just come down here. Oh, it's not that, it's structural. Two of those. Two of them. Just so that we can, we'll call it the mission dot. Launch it. We are technically out of time, but I think we can at least get it out on the pad and get saved. Okay. So fuel. Come here. Fuel on. Fuel on. Go here. And that's all, folks. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.